So, welcome back to the 5th episode of the Halloween lore build series, where I select perks that fit the characteristics of whatever Michael that I am doing, with the caveat that I am not allowed to use duplicate perks as much as I possibly can, and I'm not allowed to use Michael's teachable perks whatsoever. And the movie we will be doing today is Halloween 6: The Curse of Michael Myers, one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time. But Duke Gry, how could you like this movie? It's one of the worst in the entire franchise. First of all, your mom, and second of all, this is one of the first movies I had ever watched, so I do have a little bit of like a childhood bias towards it. But nostalgia aside, let's get into the build. First perk we have is Spies from the Shadow, which plays into the whole Cult of Thorn aspect of this movie. And if you don't know what the Cult of Thorn is, it's basically this cult that worships a demon known as Thorn that inhabits Michael's body, that compels him to kill his entire family, and they basically worship and also control Michael at the same time. I don't really know how that works, but that's how it is. And also aid Michael in his ritualistic killings. Next perk we have is Ultimate Weapon. Being the vessel of Thorn, Michael is practically superhuman. He has super strength, super durability, and is also incapable of dying whatsoever. And with these abilities, it allows him to do the things he does, like surviving being blown up and getting shot to oblivion, and also capable of doing these incredible feats where he's lifting people with his bare hands with ease. Next up we have Rapid Brutality. Michael is really scary in this movie. He's a lot more aggressive than we've seen in previous films, and also he's a lot more vicious with his kills as well. Like, he went out of his way to electrocute himself to blow somebody's head up. Very terrifying. Lastly, we have Machine Learning, which I'm going by the flavor text for this one. Free from your shackles, you are born anew and prepared to eliminate your creators. This is in reference to the end of the movie where Michael just suddenly turns on the Cult of Thorn and murks all of them for whatever reason, free from being a puppet of this cult and, free to do whatever he wants from now on. We will be going to Haddonfield and we'll also be using the new best combo in the entire game. Before we get started, I'd like to say that I did do a little something different for this video. Instead of playing and talking at the same time, I instead pre-recorded this commentary. Now, it's not scripted whatsoever, this is just off the top of my head. But I noticed in the previous videos that I was saying a lot of ums, likes, and stuff like that. Just a lot of filler words, and I don't really like that. So I pre-recorded this, cut it down a little bit, just to make it a better listening experience for you guys. So I hope you enjoy, and let's get into it.
Michael!
Now, before we get started, I'd like to say that I may have a little soft spot for Halloween 6, because this was one of the first movies I had ever watched in the franchise. In fact, I think this is actually the third one behind Rob Zombie 1 and Rob Zombie 2. So I do have a little bit of a nostalgic bias towards it, but regardless of that, I don't really understand why people consider this the worst movie in the entire franchise. I understand if, assassinating Michael's character is like a turnoff for you, or the whole cult thing, but regardless of that, it's a very badass and very fun movie. I just don't understand why. Like, I literally had somebody in my comment section saying, yes, this is by far the worst movie, and I just don't see it. I really don't. But regardless of that, let's get into the likes and dislikes. My first like is Michael. I love Michael in this movie. He's played by two actors. He's played once again by George P. Wilbur, who was from Halloween 4, and he's played by a new guy called Michael A. Lerner, or A. Michael Lerner. I can't remember the order of his name, but he plays Michael later on in the movie, and they kind of play two different Michaels throughout this film. You have George P. Wilbur, who's more so like in the background kind of Michael, hiding in the shadows, waiting for his moment to strike, versus Michael A. Lerner, who's more of like the aggressive Michael, the attack dog Michael, which is awesome, by the way. Like, my favorite scene is when Michael's chasing this guy down this red hallway and smashes his head against a gate. It's so unbelievably cool, and I love Michael in this movie. There are some things that I can live without, but we'll get into that later. Another thing I really like about this movie is Donald Pleasence's performance as Dr. Loomis. Obviously, I've said it every single video so far. Donald Pleasence is the backbone of Halloween, and unfortunately this was his last movie in the franchise, because he in fact died a couple months before the release of Halloween 6, which I would just like to say, rest in peace, Donald Pleasence. You were such a great actor, and also from what I've heard in the past, he was also a very kind and funny person as well, which is really nice to hear, and I would just like to say, rest in peace. But the reason I like Loomis so much in this movie is because he has a lot of good moments. He has a couple of lines that I really like, I'm going to put on the screen right now if you haven't heard them before.
Came from a source too violent, too deadly for you to imagine. It grew inside him, contaminating his soul. It was pure evil.
Michael Myers is my business. I suppose it was a ghost that did all this. It was a ghost talking on the radio last night, and that's a ghost being carried out here right now.
And also, he's back from being that rambunctious and unpredictable Loomis we saw in Halloween 5, and he's more reserved and more calculated and a lot more methodical like he was back in Halloween 1, which I really, really like. And also, there was a really funny moment from the beginning of this movie where Loomis is listening to the radio and the radio host is like, "Oh, I thought the old quack was dead." And Loomis was like, "Not dead.
Maybe you should contact your attorney.
Just very much retired." I don't know why, but it always puts a smile on my face every time I see that. Another good character, in my opinion, is Tommy Doyle. I've never understood why people give so much shit to Paul Rudd for this role. I think he played a very believable, traumatized, reserved kind of guy who's a little goofy here and there. He may be a little too goofy, but regardless of that, I think he plays this role very believable. And also, he's like a nice mix between being a Tommy Jarvis character and a Dr. Loomis character, like as a single character. He's like the final guy and the Ahab at the same exact time. If you don't know what Ahab is, it's basically like a headhunter, a Dr. Loomis character. And also, Tommy is very memeable. For example, when Michael comes out of that corridor near the end of the movie, when Tommy is trying to break Kara out of jail, and he looks at Michael and he's like, "Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit." It's so unbelievably funny. I just love his facial reactions during that scene. And speaking of Kara, I think she also did a pretty good job with that kind of motherly figure. She played a very believable, caring mother. Not really much to say after that, but I just really liked her character. Also, something else that gets a lot of hate is the music for this movie, specifically the theatrical cut. Now, if you don't know, there are two cuts of this movie, the theatrical cut and the producer's cut. And for the theatrical cut, they had a more rock and roll kind of Halloween theme, which I can understand if people don't like it because it doesn't really fit Halloween. But regardless, it sounds badass. Like the dum, dum dum, and then the guitar coming in, bump, 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 bump. So cool. I don't know why people hate it so much. Then if you get into the producer's cut, it gets a lot more slow, methodical, like the OG theme and stuff like that. Also, something that was really badass was the kills. All the kills in this movie are pretty damn good. Like, we start off with the nurse getting pinned up onto the wall on some random wall spike. I don't know why there's a spike on a wall, but there was, and Michael pinned her onto it. We had, I don't want to talk about this, but Jamie's death. Michael pushes her onto a farming equipment thingy, turns it on, and just grinds her guts. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I apologize if this gets demonetized because of that, but it's so visceral and so mean-spirited. Then we have the axe kill with the blood splattering on the sheets. We have the electrocution kill. We have the radio host in the tree. And then we have the red hallway scene with Michael chasing down that nurse dude and smacking his head against the gate. So unbelievably badass. And my last like is you don't really feel the runtime for the theatrical cut. For the producer's cut, you can very much feel the runtime because it's very slow, very methodical. You know, it takes its time trying to explain everything. But the theatrical cut is like to the point, in your face, getting shit done fast, which is very much appreciated for my low attention span. Now for the dislikes. Now, at the time when I first watched this movie, I didn't really know or care about the Jamie character, but now after watching Halloween 4 and 5 and falling in love with that character and, you know, trying to, you know, have that kind of protective feeling for her, it feels so bad when you see her get killed off in the first 10 minutes of the movie. First 10 minutes. Like, bro, why would you take such a memorable and like iconic character and just throw them away like garbage? Another dislike is the radio host. I did not like that character at all, and I know you're not supposed to like him. He's supposed to be a dick, but regardless, I hated him and I was so happy to see him hanging up in that tree. Oh boy, my next dislike is the cult aspect. Now, for me, it's not a deal breaker because I have kind of like a hate-love relationship with it, but I understand if people kind of have like that, yeah, this is the reason they hate this movie so much is because of the whole cult shit. I can understand that. But I hate it because I don't want an explanation for Michael. I like the fact that he's like pure evil. He's just born to do what he does. But on the other hand, it's a very interesting way to explain why Michael is the way he is. If you are going to explain it, this was a damn good way to explain it. Oh boy, I forgot I wrote this down. So, the baby. I don't know how to talk about this, so I'm just going to be very vague about it. But if you don't know, Steven the baby is a product of both Jamie and Michael. And if you do know, Jamie and Michael are both related. Michael is Jamie's uncle. Okay? Now, depending on which version of the movie you watch, if you watch the theatrical cut, Steven is born through artificial insemination, so no foul play there. But if you watch the producer's cut, yeah. I don't like that. Moving on. For my next dislike, I don't like how many important characters there are in Halloween 6. You have Jamie, you have Michael, you have Dr. Wynn, you have Tommy, you have Kara, you have Danny, you have Steven, you have Loomis. There are simply just too many characters to keep track of. Now for my final dislike, I don't like that this ended the Cult of Thorn timeline. I would have very much liked to see a continuation of the story, at least from the ending of the producer's cut, because in that cut, Loomis has the mark of Thorn on his wrist now, which means now he is the leader of the Cult of Thorn, which means he has to protect Michael at all costs, which goes against his character entirely. So that conflict between Michael and Loomis, him having to protect him and him not wanting to do so, that's very interesting. And on the other side, you have Tommy, who's like the new Dr. Loomis-esque character who has to protect Kara, Danny, and Steven, just so, you know, they don't get taken out by Michael and stuff like that. It's so interesting. I really wish they continued this. I'm okay with it because we got H2O, but I really wish they continued this story. Now that I've given my likes and dislikes about Halloween 6, it is time for the Loomis meter. And if you don't know, it is a scale from 1 to 6,
I shot him 6 times.
1 being bad and 6 being amazing. And for Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, I will be giving it a 4 times out of 6. Let me know what you thought of Halloween 6 down below, and if you haven't seen it yet, then please go give it a watch. And also, do me a favor, please give it a chance. Go develop your own opinions. Don't listen to me, don't listen to other content creators and whatever they say about it. Please give it a chance and let me know what you thought of it down below. And if you liked it, cool. If you didn't like it, then fine, that's okay. Get the f*** out.
Michael!
So, it seems like we're going against TTVs, and it seems like they're going to be doing little sabos as well, which is very scary because this is my first game on and I don't feel like dealing with that crap, but we shall prevail over these sabos. Thank you so much for the stock. I very much appreciate your generosity. Stop hiding from me. Stop it. Please. And now we have our tier 3. And I have a feeling that somebody's at the top of main, so I'm gonna go over there. I am correct. Surprise, mother trucker. Hello, Stevington. I did not. I wanted to lunge, but I decided against it. Stevington, I am not a tombstoner. I am in fact a lock of hair gamer. Gosh darn it. I need a crow real quick. I know Jill's around here somewhere. Yep, somebody is doing this gen. I'm going to kick it for my machine learning. Nobody shall ever stop me, for my machine learning is all powerful. Hello, Jill. How dare you unhook Steve? How dare you? This may seem scummy that I am tunneling, but it must be done for the betterment of DBD. I shall cleanse them of all their sins. Whoa, whoa, buddy. Whoa, I did not even hear that flashbang. I don't like that they muffled the flashbang noise. I really don't like that. Drop that. Thank you. And now I think you are trapped here. Go back this way. Alright, Dino Dewey, I'm unfortunately... I did not think he would go to the window. But he did. For this Dwight has balls of steel, the dino balls. I am super hungry right now. I need to make myself like a PB&J or something. I am so hungry. Gotta get that protein and that jelly in me. I am never going to say I gotta get that jelly in me again. Hello, Steve. Alright, I'm gonna go inside. Maybe that'll throw him off guard. It in fact did. Whoa. Nice. Alright, Steve is out of the game. I don't know where Dwight is. Hopefully he's not nearby for a Sabo. You know, for a Sabo squad, they're not doing a lot of Sabos, honestly. Not a lot of Sabos whatsoever. Let's find anybody. Hello? Found you. Bang. You have a friend nearby. Is that why you're pointing? Oh, this hook is gone. Well, unfortunately, I cannot hook you, Dwight, so I shall move on to the next person. My balls are hot. Spies from the Shadow is such a good perk for the new Michael. Well, not really the new Michael, but just like with Michael in general, just so you know where people are, so you don't have to use like aura reading perks or anything like that. I have a feeling they're going to be doing that gen. Ooh, you went straight to this pallet, didn't you? Will I be getting my... what is it called? My machine learning in a couple of seconds? If so, I'm gonna go straight across the map. Yep. Hello, Jill. Hello. Hello, darling. You didn't expect to see me here, did you? Bang! I love machine learning. Please, Dwight, don't be nearby. Thank you. I appreciate it. I honestly thought this was going to be a Sabo squad, but unfortunately, they are not. Sorry, Dwight, but this is the end of the line. I thought I stabbed you, but unfortunately you did not. Do see Fang in the distance. She's not letting me stalk her anymore. Unfortunate. There she is. There she is again. Come on, get line of sight. There we go. Perfect 99. Hell yeah. What a 99. Some would say that's the best 99 in the history of Dead by Daylight. Don't be Death Hook. Okay, thank you. Gonna do this, see where Jill is. They're both right there. Or is... oh, Jill's up top. Jill's up top somewhere, I think. I was hoping there was a window in there so I can, like, catch them off guard or something. She has sprint burst. No, she doesn't. What are you doing? What are you doing? You killed yourself. What was that? What the world? Okay, thank you for the free kill. I thought Fang was, like, inside the house somewhere, so I was worried about her, but she just left. Alright, I'll take it. Die, Dwight. Die. Yes. Now, you die.
God damn you.